Hello and welcome back to Sweet Rides. This week, as promised, we'll be riding the Harley Davidson Street Glide Special. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe if you like the video. If you saw my last video, welcome back. Those of you that did will already know that I own this bike. So I just want to explain firstly why I ride Harley Davidsons, and secondly, just give you a really honest opinion on why I bought this particular Harley. The previous video was about my other bike, a KTM 1290 Super Duke R, and as you can see, I own two very different bikes. I know there'll be quite a few of you out there that don't really understand my choices, so I hope you'll stick with me through this video while I explain. And as per usual, at the end of the video, I'll tell you if it's a sweet ride,
Sweet!
I can't decide, or a run and hide. So let's go and ride.
Okay, so why do I ride Harley Davidsons? Well, the answer to that one's quite simple. Whenever I get on a cruiser, and particularly a Harley Davidson, it just totally relaxes me. If I'm feeling stressed, maybe had a tough day at work, I get the Harley out of the garage, go for a nice long ride, and it just totally sorts me out. But not just that, I love the old style look of Harleys. They have a traditional, simplistic feel, but nowadays actually have quite a lot of modern technology on them as well. There's also the social aspect around Harleys. I'm a member of the local Harley club, the Three Rivers chapter, and they ride out of Watford Harley Davidson dealership. And I love the camaraderie between the members, the great factory and dealer-backed organisation, and ultimately the regular rides and trips that run almost all year round. I've been riding a long time, and I can't say as I've ever experienced this kind of belonging and brand loyalty with any other manufacturer. I like to ride different bikes for different reasons. I ride my KTM when I feel like getting somewhere really fast and having a bit of a blat, having some fun. I ride my Harley to be sociable, to relax and to enjoy the ride. That said, Harleys are not the sluggish old museum pieces that some people think they are. Obviously they won't be as quick as your superbike, but you can travel long distances in comfort and making decent progress. This Harley will easily beat cars away from the lights, if needed. But to be honest, once you're in Harley mode, you probably won't want to. Harleys are definitely all about the ride, rather than the destination. So let's talk about the bike. So this is an 1868cc V-twin engine, or 114 cubic inches as the Americans call it. That produces 158 newton meters of torque. Now Harley don't always talk about horsepower figures, as these bikes are all about the torque. But this bike, as standard, makes about 93 horsepower. And after having a stage 1 tune like this one, it'll make about 100 horsepower. Now to put things into perspective, 158 newton meters of torque is more than my KTM, It's more than a Suzuki Hayabusa and even more than a Kawasaki H2. So from low revs they do pull really hard. Harley offer different stages of tuning if you want to improve your performance. A stage 1 upgrade normally includes an uprated air filter, free-flowing exhaust and a tuner. This is what most owners go for, as it allows the engine to breathe more naturally and improves the sound of the bike. Further tuning is available. A stage 2 is a cam upgrade that takes your horsepower to about 120. A stage 3 is new barrels and pistons. That increases the bore and takes power up to about 135. A stage 4 includes performance heads, an upgraded throttle body, and that will get you towards 150 horsepower. However, these upgrades are not cheap, and you must use Harley's own Screaming Eagle parts if you want to maintain your warranty. But the option to upgrade is there if you want. Now, there's no denying this is a big, heavy bike, and moving the bike around in car parks and garages is not always easy. However, once you get rolling on the road, the weight just seems to disappear, and if anything, it becomes an advantage. This bike's got a low seat height, the weight's carried really low in the frame, and the bike just feels so planted and sure-footed. It's a lovely, stable ride that really encourages confident handling from the rider. It's got twin discs up front with Brembo calipers. It has a linked braking system that adds a little bit of rear brake when you pull the front and vice versa. It's a really clever system. It isn't at all intrusive and even knows when you're slow speed riding and reverts to normal braking. Now, to really click with a Harley, you have to realise that you just don't ride a Harley like other bikes. But once you relax into the engine with its lazy sound, it just becomes a joy. There's no point trying to rev that engine. Just change gear and cruise along on a tidal wave of torque. There's not loads of ground clearance, so you can't throw the Harley into a bend like you would some bikes, and there's no point because you'll just end up scraping the footboards. But again, that's part of the Harley charm. It will make your ride in a different way that only makes sense once you experience it. Standard 12-inch rear shocks on this model were a bit stiff for me, so I upgraded them to 13-inch Legends Revo A. They improve comfort and handling. It's just a shame Harley don't fit better units from the factory, as this is a common upgrade for lots of Harley riders, who, let's be honest, pay quite a lot of money for their bikes. One of the main reasons I chose this bike was comfort. It has a really relaxed riding position, a soft, comfortable seat, low and wide handlebars, and footboards too. Because this model has the big batwing fairing combined with a comfortable riding position, you really can ride it pretty much all day long. As I mentioned, the Street Glide Special sits an inch lower than the other Tourers in this lineup to give it that lowered custom look. However, this is what causes the firmness in the ride. As I mentioned, you may want to upgrade the suspension. If you do, it really does give a lovely smooth ride. Harley Davidson have a massive catalogue of accessories too, so if you want to change the seat, handlebars, or a million other things, they're all readily available. So this bike comes equipped with self-cancelling turn signals, lean sensitive as well, and to be honest, it's the best system I'm aware of. Very, very easy to use. Cruise control, which I love, essential on a big tourer like this. Got different riding modes, rain mode, adjust the power and electronic systems to suit the conditions. Tyre pressure monitoring, so you'll always be confident your tyres are running at the correct pressures. Hill hold control, really useful on a heavy bike like this. Allows you to get both feet down, keep your hand on the throttle, ready to move off. You've got lean sensitive ABS to stop unwanted slips and skids. Lean sensitive traction control to stop loss of traction as you turn the throttle. Got lean sensitive drag control torque slip, so that stops the rear wheel from locking up on down changes. Lights on the latest version of this model are LED. As I mentioned, this is a 2020 version. The onboard entertainment is provided by the Boombox GTS system, which provides navigation, radio, that includes DAB, and will link to your smartphone, providing calls and music. As standard, this is played through the onboard speaker system, which is fine at speeds up to about 50 miles per hour, but beyond that, you'll really struggle. Of course, Harley offer speaker and amp upgrades, but if you're like me, I don't really like making a load of noise while I'm riding along, so I prefer to listen through my headset. However, doing this with the bike from the factory is not a standard option. Now, this is a major gripe of mine with Harley Davidson. This is an expensive bike with a really good infotainment system, but to use the Bluetooth facility, you have to install what's known as a WIM, a wireless headset interface module. These cost around £250 plus installation. If you read the bump on the Harley website, it makes it sound like you can just plug and go. This isn't the case. Come on, Harley, this is an expensive bike. Just give us some Bluetooth connectivity as standard. With this style of bike, you either appreciate them or you don't. Harleys have really grown on me over the years. I love the way they style their bikes. And as with most cruisers, the style of the bike is everything is built around the main feature, which is the engine. Harley's latest engine, the Milwaukee 8, is a great looking lump. It's still mainly air cooled, but this one also incorporates some oil cooling. Some of the bigger tourers also have water cooling as well. Harleys always bring a certain amount of tradition into their designs, and some of the bikes don't look like they've changed for years. However, Harley are very clever. They know what the customers like, and they make small changes and improvements, evolving the bikes over time. This helps keep the brand image and keeps customers of existing bikes happy too. These bikes have their own unique style that's unmistakable. Many have tried to copy it, but why have a copy when you can have an original? Anyway, we've been out for a while, time to take a break.
Whether you like Harleys or not, there's no denying they are desirable. For many people, there's something to really aspire to, a dream bike. And what that means is there's always a big demand for them, new and second-hand. That really helps to keep the value of the bike high. In fact, Harleys hold their value higher than any other motorcycle on the market. So you're always going to get your money back. Personally, I love Harleys. I get so much pleasure from them. You take them out, have a great ride. You'll stop for a coffee, have a drink. There's always a crowd of people who want to gather around, look at the bike, ask you questions about the bike. Then you'll have a lovely ride home. I get home, I want to clean it, I want to polish it, I want to look after it. It's a real pleasure to own. Okay, so the cost of the Harley Davidson Street Glide Special starts from £26,995, and that's for a chrome finish with black paint, and that's the lowest cost model. Okay. From there onwards, there's a few different options. You can see this one is all blacked out. You've got the black paintwork, the black engine. That costs a little bit more. And then you've got the two-tone paint jobs as well. So if you go for a two-tone paint job with the blacked out engine accessories, that's going to take you up to about £29,000. Okay, so I know a lot of you are going to be thinking, that's a hell of a lot of money for a slow old hog. But you've got to remember, these bikes hold their value better than any other brand out there. Although undoubtedly there's a big outlay at the beginning, if you decide to sell your bike or trade it in, you're going to get a lot of that money back. Also, because they hold their value so well, you can get some great deals, especially on PCP. You can get a current brand new Street Glide Special model with a £5,000 deposit for just $339 a month. Now, to give you some idea of how well they hold their value, my previous bike was a Harley Davidson Fat Boy. Now, I bought that brand new for £16,000. I owned it for 6 years and I sold it for £14,000. Okay, so for me, the Harley Davidson Street Glide Special is definitely a sweet ride.
Sweet!
If you've never ridden a Harley before, I really urge you to give it a go. You might surprise yourself. I started riding Harleys 30 years ago when one of my motorcycles was stolen. I lived near a local Harley dealership and the salesman there said I could take out any bike I wanted. Over a few weeks I took out quite a few, and I've got to tell you, they really got under my skin. That was 30 years ago and I've owned Harleys ever since. They're a great experience. Give them a try. Okay, so I hope you've really enjoyed today's video. If you have, please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time on Sweet Rides.